On the night of May 16, 1943, the industrial heart of Nazi Germany was shattered when the Royal Air Force deployed the Avro Lancaster UK to unleash an unprecedented flood of 330 million tons of water across the Ruhr Valley. This single strike left Nazi Germany completely exposed, wiping out vital hydroelectric power plants and paralyzing heavy steel production in an instant. Without these critical industrial hubs, the Third Reich faced total economic collapse, leaving Adolf Hitler and the Luftwaffe High Command utterly defenseless against an escalating strategic campaign. How could a heavy bomber once dismissed as a total design failure transform into the most feared airborne leviathan of the Second World War? While American B-17 Flying Fortress units conducted high-altitude daylight raids, it was the British Avro Lancaster UK that truly terrified German air defense planners throughout its operational service from 1942 to 1945. Leading global defense analysts argue that its sheer operational volume redefined aerial warfare, as the aircraft dropped over 608,000 metric tons of ordnance, representing 64% of all bombs delivered by the Royal Air Force in Europe. Armed with 4 Rolls-Royce Merlin engines generating over 1,400 horsepower each, this giant reached maximum speeds of 287 miles per hour at 15,000 feet, and boasted an operational ceiling of 24,500 feet. Yet, German command did not fear its defensive machine guns, but rather its massive, unobstructed 33-foot bomb bay. On paper, their only tactical salvation would be total air superiority, as this British monster could carry 10-ton earthquake bombs capable of leveling concrete bunkers and sinking massive battleships in minutes. Before we go on, which legendary World War II aircraft do you think was the most game-changing? And tell me where you are watching from. Subscribe now to join our global defense community. To understand why this aircraft struck such terror into German defense networks, one must examine its miraculous evolution from a catastrophic predecessor. In July 1939, the Avro Lancaster took its maiden flight equipped with 2 troublesome Rolls-Royce Vulture engines. The power plant suffered constant overheating and mechanical failures, rendering the platform utterly useless for combat. Rather than abandoning the project, Chief Designer Roy Chadwick executed a brilliant engineering revision in January 1941. By extending the wingspan to 102 feet and integrating 4 liquid-cooled V12 Rolls-Royce Merlin 20 engines, the Avro Lancaster I was born, entering front-line service by early 1942. This dramatic design overhaul turned a flawed prototype into an aerial titan boasting an unrestricted 3,000-mile maximum ferry range. What truly terrified German military planners was not just the aircraft's speed or altitude, but the unprecedented structural freedom inside its fuselage. Unlike the American B-17 Flying Fortress, which was constrained by internal cross-bracing bulkheads that limited bomb size, the British design featured a continuous 33-foot open belly bay. This massive cargo space allowed the bomber to carry devastating specialized ordnance that no other Allied aircraft could transport. Standard combat loads included the 4,000-pound and 12,000-pound blockbuster bombs, encased in thin metal shells to maximize blast pressure waves that stripped roofs and shattered windows across entire city sectors. Defense analysts note that, on paper, Traditional fortifications offered zero defense when legendary engineer Barnes Wallis developed the 12,000-pound tall boy and the massive 22,000-pound Grand Slam earthquake bombs. Dropped from high altitude, these streamlined munitions accelerated past Mach 1, penetrating up to 100 feet of earth or 16 feet of solid reinforced concrete before detonation, generating localized seismic shocks that collapsed underground structures and rendered heavy German fortifications totally useless. The terrifying potential of these specialized munitions reached its absolute peak through legendary precision operations that crippled the German war machine. During Operation Chastise on the night of May 16, 1943, 19 specially modified Avro Lancaster 3 bombers of 617 Squadron performed an extraordinary low-level attack. Flying at a perilous altitude of just 60 feet above the water at precisely 232 miles per hour, crews released the 9,250-pound upkeep bouncing bomb. Spinning backward at 500 revolutions per minute, the cylindrical weapon skipped across protective torpedo netting to breach the Möhne and Eder dams, releasing 330 million tons of water that severely disrupted German industrial infrastructure. Beyond hydroelectric targets, this formidable British platform systematically neutralized Germany's most heavily armored naval assets. On November 12, 1944, during Operation Catechism, 29 aircraft from 9 Squadron and 617 Squadron targeted the formidable German battleship Tirpitz anchored in Tromsø Fjord, Norway. Armed with 12,000-pound tallboy earthquake bombs dropped from high altitude, 2 direct hits penetrated the 33-centimeter thick armored deck, causing catastrophic internal explosions that overturned the 52,600-ton warship in mere minutes and permanently eliminating a massive threat to Allied Arctic supply convoys. Furthermore, during Operation Gomorrah in July 1943, night raids over Hamburg demonstrated how concentrated aerial bombardment could overwhelm urban defense networks. By dropping thousands of tons of high-explosive blockbuster bombs combined with incendiaries, the strikes created unprecedented thermal updrafts that devastated critical manufacturing sectors. Throughout 1944 and early 1945, even reinforced concrete submarine pens at Brest and massive railway viaducts at Bielefeld collapsed under the weight of 10-ton Grand Slam detonations, leaving the Third Reich strategic defensive network completely exposed and utterly incapable of halting the Allied advance. Yet despite its undeniable destructive power, operating this heavy bomber came at a devastating cost that highlighted its critical tactical vulnerabilities. Defensive armament on the Avro Lancaster was surprisingly weak, relying primarily on 8 light .303 caliber Browning machine guns spread across 3 gun turrets. German night fighters like the Junkers Ju-88 and Messerschmitt Bf 110 exploited this weakness using Schrage Music, ventral-mounted twin autocannons firing upward into the unarmored belly of the bomber, a blind spot where British crews had zero visibility. Out of 7,377 aircraft produced, 3,249 were lost in combat, resulting in 55,160 fatalities among Royal Air Force Bomber Command personnel, representing a sobering 44.4% mortality rate. Nevertheless, the strategic impact of this platform fundamentally reshaped modern air doctrine. Global defense analysts argue that the operational history of this British heavy bomber proved that tactical victory in modern warfare requires total integration of massive payload capacity, precision engineering, and strategic persistence. By forcing German military command to divert over 30% of their total defense budget toward domestic anti-aircraft artillery and air defense interception networks, the aircraft systematically depleted resources needed on the Eastern Front, accelerating the ultimate collapse of the Third Reich. Today, this legacy lives on as modern air forces continue to rely on heavy strategic bombers carrying specialized bunker-busting munitions inspired by the early earthquake bombs. The evolution of aerial warfare demonstrates that sheer destructive power alone cannot secure victory without complete domain awareness and adaptability in design. Do you believe that specialized heavy bombers still hold a decisive place in modern warfare? Or have hypersonic missiles rendered long-range bomber fleets completely obsolete?